Welcome to another episode of the Shifter Show. Before we get started, what levers are you running on your bike?
Me, Lucky Speed Shop.
We're going to have to change that up. We're going to get you a set of Elite Mototech Easy Pull levers.
Okay.
I got a discount code. Use code SHIFTERCREW at checkout.
It's a wrap.
That's done. Best levers in the game, hands down.
Sounds
guaranteed.
Good.
Also, if you ever get in a motorcycle accident, call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS.
Should I call them?
You probably should.
If I get in a motorcycle
Didn't
accident?
you recently get in one?
No. I've never put a bike down yet.
Dude, you better knock on wood.
Nah.
What? This is going to be a good one. All right, I'm here with Dick Pankis.
What's up, guys?
Dude, so we both work at National City Harley, and we hit it off for obvious reasons.
Yeah. Like the two white guys here?
Like the only two. We have the same sense of humor. We crack the same jokes.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody looks at us like we're idiots.
Pretty much.
I was like, dude, we started talking one day. I was like, do you want to do a podcast? Because this would be a good time to just sit up here.
Yeah.
Usually, like, we're actually working right now, so we can't be drinking beers, but you got your coffee cup, and I'm like, damn, I wish I was drinking a beer.
It's like a podcast move, bro.
I know.
That's like,
you got to have a drink.
You have to.
Have you done a podcast before?
Yeah.
Really? Who's
in my head? Dude,
Oh,
I'm a
all the
fucking crazy person.
Yeah. You're just sitting there with headphones on,
By
talking to yourself all the day.
My roommates are like, hey, is Dick doing that thing again? I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, he is. He's just faking.
I'm like, Jamie, pull it up. And they're like,
nobody there.
Yeah, there's no one there. My dog's looking at me like, what the fuck is going on?
I think we're talking about putting a TV in here because Dweezy did an edit on the last podcast where like we're talking and then he cut to the video that we were talking about.
Yeah.
I was like, that was pretty sick.
Yeah, the Jamie move. It's like fucking clutch.
Yeah.
Especially because if you're talking about stuff that's like ambiguous or people are like, what are you referring to?
Yeah, you gotta
pull it up.
That it was pretty clutch on his when he did the edit of it. I was like, I feel like we just like went up another little level.
Yeah.
Like now I just need to get like some real mic booms and we'll be good. These are like the IKEA specials.
Get electromagnetic ones that just float.
See? I'm sure. Yeah.
That's easy.
I'm sure somebody will pay for those.
Yeah.
It won't be me.
We can make it. I got it. Yeah.
There we go.
Rare earth magnets, bro. It's easy.
Yeah?
Yeah. Just have them float here.
Feel like
I'm being dead serious.
I feel like this is something you've researched in the past.
Well, no. Yeah, electromagnetics for sure. Because, so I have this idea, right, that the government would never allow. But the amount of energy we lose on highways, right? Mm-hmm. So I was like, all you do is every new car that's built, you put an electromagnetic pole in the car. And then along like major highways, you create the opposite pole and you have a turbine. And so all the cars that are passing it, you do get a drag coefficient, but like they would generate so much fucking power. But the car industry would never allow it. And like getting the federal government on board would be retarded.
Have you ever heard of the railgun?
Like a railgun?
Yeah. Like how those
how they work. Yeah.
Incredibly dense pieces of metal.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's like just polarizing springs essentially.
Yeah.
And they can launch these things
fucking
hundreds of miles.
Yeah. Like almost light speed.
Yeah. The issue, and this was like just articles that I've read, but the Navy was supposed to put them on a bunch of their ships, but the issue was they couldn't store these projectiles.
Why?
Like they were too heavy. They're hundreds of pounds. It's not like a little regular piece of
shrapnel.
Yeah, it's like a block that's like this big by this big, and that's all it is like some crazy dense piece of metal.
It's anti-ground warfare stuff, so that you fly over
From
and
what
just
I
take out tanks and stuff.
Yeah, it's like crazy large caliber weapon that.
And I'm sure they tried it and we're like, nah, it's not feasible.
I mean, it works, but the like transportation of it, like how do you load that weapon at sea? You know?
Yeah.
Like, you got to go up and down stairwells and shit. Like, how are you going to carry this thing? I don't know how much it weighs, but I know it's a ridiculous amount. This is why I wanted to have you on, because we are going to just be talking about like the most random stuff. At some point, we might cover a motorcycle. You do like the web stuff here, and you sell bikes.
Yeah,
so
sometimes.
we'll get into that kind of stuff too. But in the meantime, we might go a little conspiracy theorist. But
I'm super down. It's just rad.
I wasn't expecting to have magnetic polarized conversations.
Right off the
3
rip.
minutes in.
Yeah. Shit. Was it not on the script?
No, I don't
Check
think
it.
We haven't had to have a script yet.
You shouldn't. Scripts get kind of funny. You can have talking points if someone of interest, like you want to hit certain like topics.
There's certain people that I'm like, I have them on. I'm like, I really want to ask him about this, but I just remembered to ask them about it.
Sure.
Like when I had Jace Hudson on, I was like,
in the back of your head.
okay, like I have a lot of, I got years built up of questions for you, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, that's awesome.
Years worth.
Yeah.
But yeah, for stuff like this, I'm like, let's just get on here, do a random one. I did one like this with Dustin a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And they're just, it's Dustin and I will go off the rails though, because we'll just start talking about ourselves.
And just that's kind of what it happens, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's nice to kind of mix it up like this
Yeah.
and just do whatever. But yeah, man.
How many podcasts are you in deep?
30 some, 30, 40, 41, 42.
You're getting more comfortable with it?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
When I first did it, I think I did go into everything with like a, this guy's coming on and
more like a structure,
more of like a little bit more of a structure. And now I'm just kind of like, man, I think you're an interesting guy. You want to come on and talk to me for an hour and some change and just bullshit a little bit, you know?
Well, it's easier to consume than like if it's like regimented.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
It's like we in our daily lives talk to each other all the time and have conversations. We're like, dude, I met this guy. He's fucking awesome. But it's not like, oh, so what do you do now? You know, like that shit doesn't really like stick as well.
No, and it's not like, it doesn't flow naturally.
Yeah.
You know, like you need to, because a lot of people are like, listen to this on the way to work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if you're just bouncing all over and it's like, I don't ever want it to seem like an interview.
Yeah.
You know, because that's just.
And what gets monotonous, people tune out and there's like not good quality content. Yeah. Exactly.
And we've got fancy lighting and all this stuff now. So now it's like, we got to start taking this serious.
Yeah. Oh, this is serious?
No, not at all.
That's awesome.
But he brought these lights in a couple episodes ago and everybody was like, bro, your lighting looks it's a lot better now because this wall has like a yellow hue to it sometimes. But these came on and I was like, this feels kind of serious.
I feel like I'm being interrogated,
right now. Yeah, like, where were you? Like, I don't know, dude. It's probably drunk.
I won't not tell you.
Yeah. How long have you worked here for? Or how long have you worked?
Harley?
This isn't the first Harley dealer you worked at, right?
No, so I used to work at San Diego Harley.
Okay.
So, pretty much every job I've had, I just get bored as shit doing whatever I'm doing, and I'm like, I want something else. So I was living in Colorado, one of the 20 states I've lived in.
Lived in 20 states?
Yeah.
Are you military brat?
No.
Just moved a lot.
Yeah, well, so I went to 7 universities. So that was like the start of it. So out of high school, I was like, same thing. I would just like go to university.
Four-year plan?
Well, no. So I was almost a sophomore when I went to college my freshman year.
Okay.
Because while I was in high school, I took courses at 2 different universities.
Okay.
Because I was like, I want to get a 4-year degree, 2 years, play pro soccer, get my life started, like just it be a wrap. And somehow that just turned into me like every year, just like, because I played soccer and tennis in college.
Okay.
And I would just be like, oh, this is cool, but like, let's try something else. So I just like hopped around. This most recent move from Colorado, I was set. Like I got a house in Colorado. It was fucking sweet. And I was working for this charity, like canvassing, just being like, hey, you want to help a child who doesn't have like pencils? And they're like, no. And they're like, you sure? It's like $5 a month, which no one does. It's always the people that come out of the mall with like the Louis Vuitton bags. Yeah. When you're like, listen, you just spent
there like
$6,000.
ringing the bell.
No, you're just being you. You're like, what's up, dude? Hey. And they're like, you're weird. I'm like, yeah, $5 a month. And they never do. And it's always people that are young, have no money. They're like, I have $4. Can I help this kid? And you're like,
so this is what you were doing in Colorado.
Colorado.
Okay.
And so, yeah. And so, what happened was the company, the 501c3 was like, hey, we want to open an office in San Diego. And I was like, it's a wrap. I had no intention of moving to California. So I popped in here.
Had you ever lived here before?
No,
visited or anything?
Never.
You were just like, I'm going to SoCal.
No, I was like, I'll open the office and then that's it. So I hired a bunch of people. This girl walks in, who I was dating, the whole reason I moved out here. And like out of the 20 states, 10 of them were because of women. I was just like, and I'd always meet a girl and she never lived where I lived. And I was like, I guess I'm moving there.
I'm packing up to Indiana.
Yeah, 100%. So moved out here for that. Got tired of the charity work just because it's like, it's obnoxious. You're in malls talking to people who don't want to talk to you.
Right.
It's not fun work. It was challenging, which I liked. So I did that, was with her, and I was just like, she wanted to kind of like pursue her career. And I was like, well, I don't know. Donnie at San Diego Harley randomly reached out and was like, hey, I found your resume online. No idea how. And he's like, do you want to work with Harley? And I was like, I don't know. Let's see. Yeah. So I walked in. That was about 3 years ago. And then, yeah, I've been here about 8 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bounced from San Diego. Came over here.
Well, yeah, I took a quick break from Harley. I was kind of like over it. Yeah. And started working for Spectrum, which is...
Spectrum Health?
No, like Spectrum, like the call center. Oh. Like mobile shit.
Okay.
Worst job ever.
Really? You were just like a call? Like
have you ever seen the SNL? Where it's like, oh, thanks for calling Spectrum. I see that you're looking to cancel. Real quick, I'm going to send you over to this guy. And the guy's being bounced around constantly. It's literally the job. It's like the most abusive thing to customers. And like,
they just don't let you go away.
And like, they encourage you, like, your handle time. So like, let's say you call a company, you're like, hey, I need to like do whatever to my service. And I'm like, oh, I got you, Taylor. You called in. You know what? You're all done. Good to go. Like 5 minutes later, you're like, wow, that's great customer service. Spectrum's like, keep them on the phone as long as you can. You're like 3 hours in. You're like, so when you tie your shoes, is it you do the loop and the bunny ears? And they're like, I'm just trying to get my service canceled. You're like, yeah, I know, but this shoe thing is really important. Like, I really got to figure out.
You're just trying to drag this out so they can't cancel.
Or like add as much shit, and you're always trying to sell more. It's really abusive.
That sounds brutal.
Yeah,
that sounds brutal.
I had the time of my life doing it. It was so much fun. Cause like, dude, you're selling the worst cell phone service to people ever. Like, I got it. It's so bad. I couldn't call you right now. Being like, no, dude, it's so bad. And they're like, we use Verizon towers. Like, not really. They're like, they can see them, but dude, it's all bad.
They like know where they are.
It's all
but
bad.
It's not real.
It's so bad, dude. Yeah.
So you're doing that for call center for a while,
which was so much fun. I got in so much trouble. They were like, you got to stop walking around the call center, dude. Like, you got to sit in your chair. And I'm like the least like
sit in my chair person.
100%. Yeah. Like, I want to do my own thing.
Yeah.
And like, dude, it was just, it was a lot of fun. Like I said, all the industries I've worked in, good experiences. But at the end of the day, like, don't work at a call center.
Like, I'm going back to selling motorcycles. That was way more fun.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Jose hit me up and I was like, yeah, sure. Let's rip it. So, yeah.
And you lived in 20 states or 10?
Yeah, 20. So I've like, some of them were like in and outs. Like Texas was like 2 months. And I was like, on paper, I would love Texas. Mm-hmm. But for some reason, I was just like, this isn't for me.
Where at in Texas?
Austin.
Okay. Well, I mean, dude, that's like the coolest city in Texas from what I hear.
I don't know. But it also depends on like where you are in your life.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I could see that.
So like at that juncture, let's see, I had just kind of recently been like disowned from my family. And I've been like, I was just kind of like figuring out, just moving out west, figuring out what I wanted to do.
Yeah, so. Just traveling.
Yeah, just being like, I don't know where to live. Ended up in Carlsbad, New Mexico. Worst place ever, dude. There's one brewery. That's it. I just named everything the town. It's ridiculous. And the funny thing is,
did you move there for a girl too?
No, I was just kind of like perusing because I lived out of my car, so I would just like pop into places and be like, "This is what I do now." But
you were just like traveling, finding jobs.
Yeah, well, because I made decent money when I was younger.
Okay.
Am I boring you?
No.
All right, can we edit that?
No, I'm sorry. No, not at all. No. This is fascinating.
So yeah, so it's like if you go back a little bit, I worked for a company when I stopped playing pro soccer. That little like stint with me trying to be like, I want to be a professional athlete, which was just parent approval trauma shit.
Yeah.
Right. And then I was working for a company.
I'll prove you wrong, Dad.
Yeah. I was like, I can make something of myself. Yeah. So I was working for this company after I was doing that. The name change thing that we talked about when you're like, we should do a podcast. So I was working for this company, started part-time, and like 4 years, I ended up being the COO. I was running at like 60 employees. And I was just like, I'm just a kid. I was like 26. And I was like, dude, I don't know how to delegate at all. So I was like, I'm going to do everything. Like I never left work. I would get in super early. I'd go there. All I did was work.
And where was this one out of?
Charlotte, North Carolina.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So like 4 years in, I never took a break. And my buddy's getting married. So then I was like, and I'd still gone by Richard at the time. And so I was like, oh, I'm going to go to this wedding. It was the first time I ever took a second away from work. So I go to the wedding, had a great time, did, illicit drugs, great time. Everybody's having a blast.
All the things.
Yeah. Come back, and literally like Monday morning, I wake up, like my eyes wake up, but I'm still like dreaming. And in this weird, like my subconscious is still playing the DMT games it does when you dream, but like my body's awake. And so that happened for like 2 or 3 days. And then it just, I couldn't go to work. And then my body just shut down. Like I started to get like pooling blood in my eyes. And I couldn't like even hold things. I was like, dude, I got to go to the hospital. Last thing I remember, Thursday morning, I was driving to the hospital, and that's it. That's all I remember. And I wake up on a hotel bed. Or, I mean, hotel bed. That would have been weird.
Hospital bed.
Yeah. Like, you went to a hospital. You're in a
we'll
hotel
go to a hotel?
bed.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Yeah. And there are doctors there, and they all speak Iranian. You're like, no.
Where's my liver?
Yeah. So I wake up, and they're like saying, like, hey, Richard, like, are you okay? Da-da-da. And I'm not responding at all to them. I'm like looking around, like, kind of like wide-eyed, like, what? Why are you guys calling me that? For whatever reason, whatever happened, I like immediately just reassociated to the name Dick. I always wanted to go by it, but I was gonna wait till I was like 80, right? Like, old man Dick.
Yeah,
just throw shit at kids.
Yeah.
But yeah, I came back.
You could still do that, by the way. I still see that in
It's-
this future for sure.
Yeah. So I came back and I just associated to it. And then, yeah, ever since then, I took a hard turn. I was like, from that point, I pulled out all my 401k because there's like no recompense if you have like a major, like certain things in your life, they don't actually penalize you. And so I just was like living retired off of the money that I'd made since I was like 14. And it was actually a lot of fun. Lived in my car, was homeless for like 9 months by choice.
Just traveling the world.
Yeah, lived under a bridge for like 9 months.
No
Bro,
way.
Yeah, but this is what's crazy. There is a hierarchy in homelessness that I would have never assumed. I just thought everyone's like, we're all homeless. We're all here to like.
None of us have a house. We're kind of on the same.
Yeah, we're kind of
field.
all fighting for it. No. There's like a structure, and there's like people you report to and shit. And when they found out I still had a car and was still like going, because I worked at a bodega, I was just a manager, just like pouring beers and stuff. They were pissed, like fucking with my shit. Like at night, they'd come over and like spray paint me with fucking rattle cans.
What?
Yeah, I'd wake up like, what the fuck? And literally just being like, get off our bridge. And I was like, this is fucking nuts. And they kept being like, you gotta go talk to Tom. And I was like, who's Tom? And like, we all talk to Tom. Tom's like, you report to. And I was like, I'm not actually in this situation.
I'm not reporting to anybody.
Yeah, I was like,
clearly, I don't know if you see me, but I live out of my car.
Yeah,
I haven't been reporting
an
to anything in a
Acura
while.
TSX. They were pissed. Yeah,
Dude.
Yeah. So it was a lot of fun. But people don't. If you look homeless, you're pretty much invisible. People don't look at they don't look at you. They like avoid eye contact. You can kind of just like go through life, and people just like. You're just not there. You're like this, like you're an apparition almost, which is really weird.
It is true because people don't want to make eye contact. They're always like, is he going to ask me for money? People get all sketched out by homeless people.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that just nobody pays attention.
Yeah, but you can just you can go and do all kinds of crazy shit and no one ever knows.
So you did that for 9 months.
Yeah.
Where at?
Charlotte, North Carolina.
That was still in Charlotte.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what happened from there?
Then I was just on
I'm traveling the world.
Yeah, well, I wanted to do the U.S. tour because so I'm second generation Lithuanian American.
Okay.
So I was like, America's pretty cool. It's pretty vast, right? So I just wanted to see, and culturally, like state to state, there are very big differences, which is kind of cool because it's all eclectic. Like there aren't really any Americans left here. If they are, they're all on reservations pretty much. Yeah. So it was just cool to see how different states are, for sure. But Colorado is my favorite. I'd definitely say.
Yeah, I've been through Colorado once or twice.
Yeah,
a couple times. I mean, I go out there for the Four Corners deal out in Durango, the big Four Corners rally. But I don't know, like that doesn't really count as Colorado because I'm there in September and there's no snow and it's not like what I think of. I went out there to Copper Mountain for like a week one time and just was skiing.
Copper Mountain's sick,
dude. We had no idea. I had no idea how to ski. I was like, well, here we are. Like
first time ever?
Yep. Watched a YouTube video the night before. Did it. Like,
no poles. You're just
I was just like, okay, like, all right, this pizza French fry thing, I'm not into it. Like, we're gonna try to turn.
Yeah.
Like,
that's sick.
That was it. But yeah, Colorado is beautiful.
Yeah.
Like that. Have you like ridden through any of these places on a bike?
No. So I didn't have a bike. I just had my car when I was doing the fucking get out west. Because the last bike I had, a kid killed himself on. It was a 2017 CBR 1000RR.
Oh yeah.
That I just turboed. And so I wake up, my girlfriend's like, hey, Dick, your bike's gone. And I'm like, it's not. Like, it's there, I promise. And she's like, no, like the cover's on the ground. It's gone. So I call the cops. I'm like, hey, you're going to find somebody dead. And they're like, what's your name? And what are you calling about? And I was like, wait. I was like,
hang on,
wait.
I
didn't kill anybody.
Yeah.
But I was like, that bike scared the shit out of me. I've been riding since I was 4. And I was like, there's no business being on a liter bike with a turbo. And it just fucking, with 17,000 RPM, just like, blah. Yeah. It's just terrifying.
Yeah.
So literally 2 hours later, the cops call and they're like,
we found your bike.
we found what's left of your bike. And so they're like, we're on Oakdale Road. I'm like, I'm on Oakdale Road just by chance. I'm leaving my buddy at Brad's house. We were writing a couple like songs together. So I'm like, let me pull up. So I go to pull up and there's this 90-year-old guy, old like Vietnam War vet, standing in his like right in front of his glass door, just like staring out. And it's the tree that was in his front yard is obliterated.
Gone.
And you're like, you can't tell between the parts of the bike, the kid, and the tree. They're just everywhere. And they're like picking up parts, and the EMTs are like, bike? And the dude's like, oh no. He's like, oh, it's a bone.
Oh my.
Like bad.
Like that?
Obliterate. Like 100. They say it like 170, 180 into the tree. He was going around this turn, and it just, the turbo hit, and he just fucking like
Sent
left.
It.
Yeah,
Just
right in the
it.
tree.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
So that happened in 2017,
That happened in, right around there.
and you didn't start riding again until you worked for Harley.
Yeah. So there was like a pretty long gap of me not having a bike, which is weird because I've had a bike since I was like pretty young, So yeah, it was just me and my car doing my thing, and it wasn't like feasible to like live out of your car
like
and also have a bike.
Yeah. Dude, it's not feasible. I have 2 bikes, and it's like not feasible. I'm like, I drove
You
the
can't
truck
ride them
today.
both.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
you
like,
can't.
man, I really enjoy these heated seats.
I know. I do miss that. Being able to get in the car.
You ride here every day. Do you have a car right now?
No, California took it.
I've kind of randomly heard of this.
Okay. So it was a 2009 Acura TSX. The only thing stock on it was the license plate.
Okay.
Like I'd built it over like 12 years, right? Stage 4 racing clutch, MagnaFlow exhaust, all the fun, just super sick.
Yeah.
So every state I lived in, I've registered it. So I get to California, and the first place I go to Hot Smog It because I already know. I'm like, I'm gonna go Hot Smog It. The dude like plugs it into the DMV system, and it's like flags of 17 things. And so from that point for like a year, I'm going everywhere. Everywhere I can, they're like, hey, the second we plug this in, it's like all flagged. You have to like reverse engineer the 60 grand you spent in the car, or I don't know.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, fuck that. Like, I'll just figure it out. I'll essentially get an LLC somewhere, register the car. So I fucking put my car in my apartment complex, covered it up. Like once a week, I'd go give her a bath, come back, right? So then I bought the Harley when I was working at Harley, and I was like, well, I've never had a Harley. I work for them. Like, let's see.
Yeah.
Like, love the lowrider. It's this busybody lady that used to like live in my apartment complex, who I know who it was, like called, was like, oh, this car never really moves. And so the tow company came into my apartment complex and towed it. So I go to the tow yard. I'm like, hey, can I have my car back? I own it. It's my, there's no lien. It's my car. And they're like, yeah, you just go get your up-to-date registration. And I was like, can't because it's illegal here. And they're like, cool. I was like, what? I'm not familiar with tow yard stuff. What is this?
Yeah.
What are we doing here?
Yeah, like what is this body
And they're
movement?
like, it's going to accrue lot fees until whatever the value of the DMV says the 2009 Acura is. And then we own it. We're going to auction it. You owe us a difference. And I was like, that all sounds like nonsense. Yeah. So I go.
It sounds like you just stole my shit.
100%. So I go to the police precinct. I'm like, what do I do? Same thing. They're like, shit, I don't know. We don't really got an answer for you. I'm like, what the fuck? So I'm like trying to figure out all these ways to get it out. The worst part is when it gets towed, I have like 780 rounds of ammunition in the trunk. Because we're about to go to the firing range that weekend. I was like, I'll just put it all in my trunk, and then like we'll come by, stop at the
They wouldn't let
apartment.
you get your personal belongings?
Oh no, I did.
Oh, okay.
So
I was like,
I go at like 3:15 in the morning because I'm like, I don't want to go to federal prison. This is California. So I go in. I'm like, hey, can I get some stuff out of the car? And they're like, you can't like take anything off of the car, but you can get your
I just
your
need
stuff.
to get my stuff out of it. Yeah.
And they're like, hey, we'll put the spotlights on. I'm like, no. Just leave the spotlights
yeah.
off. I have really good night vision. And they're like, wait, why is this relevant?
Was he a cat?
Like 19 duffel bags, bro. Just fucking
Yeah, all my stuff.
all the ammo in these and like yanking it out. Yeah. And then that's it. And it's in St. Isabel.
Really?
It got, because we have DMV records. So I checked where it is.
Like somebody
this,
owns
this
it
is
there?
my car. This is the keys to my car. Yeah. So if I see it, I'm going to GTA. I'm not going to GTA it. I'm going to GTA it. 100%. And I can't, if it's still my car built the way it is, I'm 100% taking it back. Yeah.
So somebody owns it, or is it still sitting in a...
It's someone. They sold it to someone.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and that car literally brought me like through everything. Like pretty much most of my adult life.
Yeah.
Which it's material shit. It comes and
Yeah,
goes. Like
but
I'm not like
still.
hung on it. But
How long did you have it for?
I bought it in 2012
And they took it in...
to 2023.
You're still walking around with the key.
Oh, I will. If I see that car, I'm taking it.
My car.
100%. It's my car. Like it's that. It's not like the bank owned it. I didn't pay something. They just took it.
Yeah.
And apparently the way in which it happened, there's some legality I could pursue, but I never get into that.
No.
There's so many times when people are like, you could sue that person. And I'm like, yeah, you could.
For a car.
For what?
Yeah.
To ruin someone else's life or like spend the money to do it?
Yeah. No, nobody's
No
got
good.
time for that. So you got that lowrider out there now, right?
Yeah.
That's your first Harley?
That's my first Harley. I was on Honda CBRs. I've had like 12. I love them. I loved Honda because I ride really hard and I've never had trouble with them. And they're like Legos to build. Like all my cars have been Honda. Well, Acura, Honda, same shit, right? But they're just been easy to build. It all made sense. And I have a kind of a soft spot for it because when I first started building my first car, the Acura TL, the one before it, it was just, I don't know. I just liked it. I liked the way it was engineered because I helped my buddy build his R8. And I was like, I don't ever want to touch a German thing again.
Right.
Like it was like to get anywhere, it was like the most ridiculous shit.
Yeah.
You know? You're like, oh, just get that bolt. You're like, well, you have to like call in like a whole squad, a cherry picker. You're like, this is ridiculous.
I'm trying to order a bolt.
Yeah,
man.
like I literally don't want any part of it. So
Damn.
but yeah, that's my first Harley. I love it. I think it's great. Yeah. I thought I'd want more speed. Like I'd be like,
I mean, you got like a cam in it, don't you?
yeah, scream
Isn't
over
there-
torque cam.
Yeah. I mean, dude, with the M8s, that kind of wakes them up pretty good. Like it's enough.
Yeah.
You can get out of the way now.
And they're not
you
like
know?
what I thought they were. When I first started working on Harley, I was like, this shit's all slow and sucks. But it wasn't like that at all.
No.
I mean, I boogie on that thing, you know, and I genuinely am not like, I need another bike.
Yeah.
I would love, of course, another bike, but I don't have that like, I need to go faster.
Yeah, that itch. Yeah. And I would say like it's way more fun to make slow shit go fast. Like if you can take a Harley that's designed to not necessarily go fast in a turn fast, that's a lot more fun than riding something fast slow.
Oh no, that's never fun.
It's never fun.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? That's kind of always been my thing about sport bikes is like those bikes are only fun if you're doing 100 miles an hour.
Yeah, they're really not that fun when they're slow.
Yeah.
And you only ever do 100.
Yeah.
You're never like, I'm going 60. That's never a thing.
There's times on my bike, like on either one of them, that I'm just like, oh man, this is cool out here. Let me slow down for a second. I'll just kind of like chill.
Yeah, and just hang out.
Yeah, but not on a sport bike.
No.
Like,
No.
On the Pan
You're
Am,
like,
it's a little
I'm just going
bit
to chill
hard.
and hang
I'm
out.
just going to chill and hang out. I'm really uncomfortable, and my
Yeah.
feet are behind me. Like, I don't like anything about this.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's a little bit more difficult on the Pan Am to slow down, but then I've taken it off like a couple grade roads, like that are like old fire roads and stuff, and I'm like, I'm doing 15 miles an hour on a motorcycle, and I am having a ton of fun.
Oh,
because like I can't go any faster than this on this road, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's still a challenge. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Motorcycles is shit though.
Yeah, they're the best.
They really are.
They're so sick. I don't understand how people. I mean, I do get it if you've never ridden, but it's like such a thrill, you know.
Yeah.
And my mom was an equestrian, so for me, it's like they're like modern day horses for some reason. In my mind's eye, they just are.
Yeah.
They feel that way, you know.
It's just like a challenge. I mean,
Yeah.
riding a bike is not like it. Some days I prefer. Like this morning, it was a little bit California chilly at my house.
Yeah.
So it was like 50, low 50s, and I was
Yeah.
like, "Fuck, I don't want to get on the bike."
Yeah.
You know, it was so nice to get in the truck, but it makes me feel like I don't know how else to explain this other than it kind of makes me start my day a little bit sooner because I have to be that much more aware and awake.
Yeah.
If I'm leaving to go at 7.
And if you like get on your bike fucking kind of sloppy, you're gonna wake up real fast.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're dead.
Yeah. Otherwise, you're gonna have a problem. Like,
exactly.
You need to be paying attention.
Yeah.
Oh man, dude. Yeah, no, I don't think I've had like another Harley employee on yet. So this is kind of, I'm like, I feel like I should have some questions.
Yeah. Like talk about Harley shit.
Like, I do. I mean, I've made some observations from being down here though, and we are in like a pretty cool geographical spot.
Yeah.
Because like 1, we have all the bases around us.
Yep.
2, there's a ton of traffic. So like having a motorcycle here that you can lane split on is incredibly efficient way to travel.
Oh, and I can't. If I would have lived in California, like precursor to any of the other states, it would have fucked me.
Yeah.
Because people ask, "Oh, how's California traffic?" I'm like, never experienced it. Like, how do you mean? I'm like, I've had a bike since I got here.
Yeah.
And I go, there are no rules.
No.
Which I fucking love.
It's funny too because like technically lane splitting is supposed to be like if traffic's going 20 or 25 miles per hour or less, you're allowed to like get through. Lane splitting is
but no one does that.
No, even like you'll be riding down the road and CHP is 90 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Like with their flashers on, just like booming down. I'm like, I'm gonna follow that guy.
Yeah. When I first started lane splitting, I like went by cops going, 70, just
Yeah.
fucking cooking. I'm like, is it? Oh no.
Cool.
Okay. Cool.
Okay. Yeah.
All
no.
right.
And that's what I've always heard too is that like because there's such a heavy CHP cop presence on bikes, they want to be able to do it. That's why it's legal.
I don't understand how like this is the only state.
So filtering has become legal in.
Well, filtering's different.
Filtering is like
If they're all stopped, and you can then go proceed to the front.
I don't know why filtering is not legal everywhere
Yeah, it makes no sense.
because it helps with traffic.
Especially like that
for one.
Midwest. Like,
There's
how is lane
nobody out
splitting?
there.
No one.
Like
I think it's why lane splitting is not bigger in the Midwest because they're like, what are you splitting, bro? There's
there's not
the
enough.
tractor
There's not
go
enough
around
reason
to
to
have
do
it.
it. Like New York should probably have it.
Yeah, but then you think about New Yorkers. I
Yeah.
spent a little bit good. My family's all from New York.
Where at?
Hauppauge, Long Island.
Okay. My
But
dad's from Brooklyn, so like
Yeah.
New Yorkers are unique.
yeah, I don't think
breed.
I'd be curious. I would love to see
I think
it.
they get mad and be running people off their bikes though.
Yeah.
But they also they do it out there anyway.
No, they already did.
Like, they just don't
They'll
care.
hit you as a pedestrian.
Yeah.
Be like, fuck you, dude.
Yeah, they do not care out there. Where here, I think because the traffic situation is what it is, you almost have. And now that
Yeah.
it's been legal forever, but they can't get rid of it.
No.
Like-
Well, if you did, like,
Nobody would acknowledge it.
well, the only way it would make sense if they're like, oh shit, we needed like a huge influx of money, which is essentially we're all just like means to make money, right? Like traffic laws are all there just so we just generate revenue for someone else, which is retarded. But yeah, if they wanted to do that, they could. But even still, you know how hard it would be to like regulate that?
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Have I told you about I got pulled over like 2 days after moving down here.
No.
So I lived up in, I don't know if you know, I lived up in Lemoore for a while and then came down here. And I was just like, all right, I've never really lived here. I lived in El Cajon for a few months.
Yeah.
And I showed up to Temecula because I just never been there. I was like, I've heard about Temecula. Let's go check it out.
Sure.
So I'm on leave still from the Navy. I had like a whole beard. I was on like day 25 of leave or something. So like I looked like you know, like I had like a little respectable beard going.
Oh, nice.
And
not this little weird thing that you got?
No, not this little mustache come back, dude. I got to get rid of it. But my daughter gets bummed.
Is she a weird out?
My daughter's like, mustache, Daddy, where'd your mustache go?
She doesn't freak out. She just like wants you to have it.
She's like, and then she'll like, it's almost like she's accidentally making fun of me. Cause like I'll be holding her, she'll be like, no mustache. And I'm like, are you taking shots?
She's belittling you.
Little 2-year-old, like, we're about to fight right now.
Yeah.
Like, she'll be like, no mustache.
It is weird though. Every time you have a mustache and shave it off, every time I do, I'm like, what the fuck just happened to my face?
I look way better without it. 100%. I look way better without it, dude. So yeah, I was up in Temecula and it was funny because Ryan from Bamco was like, I'm just riding around. I hadn't rode in like a month because I've been doing like this PCS transfer move thing. And it was my first day back on the bike on my bagger. And I was coming down the 15. First time riding that road, I didn't realize that's freaking cop central. Yeah. Right there, dude. Yeah. So like as soon I get to the top of the hill and like as soon as I saw the cop, I was like, this is a problem. Like this is a problem. Yeah. I let off a little bit. He's on a bike. So there's no like, you're pulling over, you know?
Yeah, you got to.
And it's a wide open road. Like by the time I got to him, he already had the radar gun like put in his saddlebag.
He already had his ticket.
He was already like, here we go. So dude, I just got over in the right lane, like pull over. Sure enough, he lights me up. And I pull over, like turn the bike off. I never gotten a speeding ticket. I've never gotten anything in my life.
That was your first?
Check it out. So
what?
So I'd never gotten one ever.
Okay.
32 years old. So he pulls me over and I'm just like, hey man, like I didn't know. I was like, hey, can I take my helmet off? Like I've never, you know what I mean? Like I don't even know. He was like,
I did that the first time too.
Yeah.
But this is legal?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the first thing he says, he's like, man, I saw your bike. I thought you might be the kind of guy to run off on me. And I was like, no, like I'm not the kind of guy that runs.
You were crying, right?
Yeah. No, I was just like,
did you see that?
I was like, I was like, wait a minute. He's being pretty cool. He likes my bike.
Yeah.
That was like the first thing that I thought of, right? Yeah. And he's like, yeah, man, I just need you. He's like, I got you over the hill, 92 miles an hour. And I was like,
and it's 65?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, okay. And he's like, can I get your license, registration, proof of insurance? I was like, yeah, let me hop up the bike. Insurance is in my bag, in my saddlebag somewhere. He's like, okay. So I'm digging through the bag and he's looking. I've got the Santoro crash bars with the skateboard wheels on it. And I'm going through my bag and I look up at him and he's like, and he like,
spins like a
skateboard.
Child?
Yeah, like spins the skateboard wheel. He's like, I like come back up with my registration. I'm like, and he's like, you got skateboard wheels on your frame sliders. And I'm like,
sure do.
You know? And he's like, I kind of like those. I'm like, do you want them? Like, I didn't say that. But I was like, in my head, I'm like, I'll have a set at your house this afternoon, dude. Like, I don't know if this is bribery or not, but like 91.
Like, do you want money? Wait, how does this work?
Yeah, I'm like, what are you getting at here, man? Because I got tools. I'll pull these fuckers off right now, dude. You can have a set on your frame sliders.
Yeah, right.
As you call it. So, he's like, you know, blah, blah, blah. I was like, yeah. He's like, what's the story, man? Why are you going so fast? And I'm like, dude, I just moved here from Lemoore, PCS in the Navy. I haven't been able to ride my bike in like 3 weeks. It's San Diego. I'm just out here. Yeah. I was like, I'm just out here having too much fun. That's straight up what I told him.
Yeah.
He was like, all right, goes back to the bike. And they got like a little computer. They're like typing stuff in. And he looks at me and he's like, hey, you've never gotten a ticket before? And I was like,
he went to Pop Your Cherry. Did you get excited?
I literally looked at him. I was like, not till today, you know.
You
like,
said that?
Yeah, I was like,
you're not supposed to say that.
Well, I mean, I'm doing 90 something in a 65,
dude, bro.
So I'm like, not till today. He's like, yeah, 92. At least you earned it, right? And I was like, yeah, you know. Like, so he comes back up.
That was the first time. That's crazy.
So he comes up like he fucking gets the yellow thing out. He's writing on it, and I'm like, fuck.
That's the ticket we call that, Taylor.
Dude,
the yellow thing.
Well, I'm gonna change the subject here. So he comes over and he's like, hey man, you saw me right away. You pulled over. You didn't give me some stupid excuse.
Yeah.
You're the kind of guy I want to give a warning to. Welcome to Southern California. Gives me a warning, dude. I was
there.
Like,
you go.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't remember why we got on that story.
Best feeling though.
But it was such a good feeling. I was just like,
Did you rip it away or did you pussyfoot it?
Dude, I was like stalling it out, trying to get out.
Yeah.
But I just was like, holy shit.
Man, that's crazy.
So now I'm super careful on the 15 because I'm like, I'm going to see that dude again. And he's going to see my Road Glide with an orange windshield and be like, I remember you.
Yeah.
Like, you gave me a bullshit excuse last time.
Yeah.
Here you are again.
Dude, the honesty works.
It did, man.
I've been pulled over 27 times. And I've gotten
an actual number? Or?
Yeah, I've actually been pulled over 27 times. I've gotten 4 tickets in my life.
Damn.
But most times I tell them exactly what it was.
Yeah.
Hey, dude, I just put this fucking turbo in my car. Yeah. I want to know how it felt. I picked this mile stretch on this I-77 that no one's on. If I flip the car, it's just me. Like, just being real.
Just being honest.
Yeah.
The other time I kind of got out of one, I was going too fast. I just got back from my first deployment and I sent my truck up to my parents' house up in Michigan. I was riding through like Pennsylvania. Yeah. And I mean, like all my mail had been sent to there. So like by the time I got there, like I had some clothes and some bins. I had my puppy in the truck with me. Like,
you still have a puppy?
Well, I got the dog and then gone up there to get the truck. So the puppy was there with me and Shannon was there and everybody. And the whole back seat is just full of like boxes and like my insurance card is in there somewhere. You know what I mean? But I've been gone for 9 months. I gotta. Yeah. So it's literally Memorial Day, like not Memorial Day weekend. It's Memorial Day in Pennsylvania. Come over the hill, same thing. Guy lights me up before I get to him. Yeah. Pulls me over, and he's like, "Hey man, license, registration, blah blah blah." And I'm like, then he asks for the insurance. I'm like, "Hey, I have my insurance, but it's in the back somewhere. Can I like get out and find it? I'll get it for you." Like, and I don't think it was. At the time, it wasn't like now I don't have one of those copies. It's just on my phone for the most part.
Yeah, of course.
Like now it's just all on my phone.
Yeah.
At the time, it wasn't like that. So I was like, I just got back from deployment and all my stuff's in the back. That's why the truck looks like this. And he's like, where were you deployed to? And I told him, and then he was like, what's your command or your unit? And I told him, and he was like, do you have your ID card on you? And I was like, yeah. Mind you, I'm like 22.
I thought he was going to chip you.
No. So I like pull my ID out. I hand it to him. Yeah. And he looks at it. He's like, yeah, bro, you're not getting a ticket on Memorial Day. Just really? Like that. I was like,
yo, there you go.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, he was like,
run it.
He was like, keep it down, dude. Like, keep it under 80 for me. I was like, yes, sir.
Yeah, PA cops aren't too bad.
Dude, they were cool. Yeah. Like,
Virginia's the worst.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Virginia
the worst.
Doesn't care, dude.
Well, and they speed trap you.
100%.
Like, I love that you're on this road that's 75, but there is now this road that's 35, and they're contiguous, and I'm also sitting right here.
Yeah,
which is illegal.
I am at the sign.
You're just like,
dude, it drove me absolutely nuts living in Virginia because I cannot 564. I can't remember what the interstate is right there that leads right off the base onto the interstate. They sit right there. Yeah, like a quarter mile onto the interstate.
That's the way they're trained. And all Virginia cops are like that.
I'm like, you guys got nothing better to do. Like, some poor E3 who's miserable and gets to go home every 18 hours for 6 hours before he has to get back on this boat with a needle gun and chip paint. He's just trying to get home. Yeah. And you're going to write him up for 80 and a 65.
And ruin his entire fucking time off base. Yeah.
And now this poor bastard is going to have to tell, like, he's going to have to go to court. Yeah. He's going to have to tell his chain of command. Yep. He's going to be labeled a shithead.
His LPO is going to,
everybody's going to hate him, dude. And I'm just like, I hate you. For that reason, I hate you. Yeah. But I didn't really get into bikes until like 2020 when I got out here.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, I had bikes. I had 2 bikes out in Virginia, but it just moving to California, it turned into a different thing for me.
No shit.
You know? Yeah. Like we went, I mean, I did some long rides. I did like the whole Blue Ridge Parkway, did the Tail of the Dragon, all that kind of stuff.
That was fun.
It was cool.
You seen a lot of dead people on that one?
Dude, no dead people, but
dude, I haven't gone on the Tail of the Dragon without seeing someone just teetering on the side of a mountain or like all kind. It's just
really?
Yeah, but I always go up because if you go up, it's nice. There's 700 people on the road, right? Yeah. Because like everyone's like Tail of the Dragon, dope, right? Yeah. But like
it's not. It's really it's
just a fucking really 300 hairpins in like a mile.
Yeah. It's just like I'm going this way. Yeah. I'm going this way. I'm doing 15. Yeah. I'm doing 25.
Oh, there's a semi. Like what are you doing on here?
And then like the time I went, there was like a Mazda Miata club there and a Porsche group that were there. And these dudes were
tearing it up,
getting it, dude. No shit. And I was super in the way. Like I did not want to be there.
You're like I don't belong here.
Like I don't belong there now when these Porsche dudes are there. Yeah. I definitely didn't belong there in 2017. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? No like, shit. I definitely had no business being out there. But the parts tree. Yeah. What are they? I don't remember. It has a name.
I can't remember.
It's like the tree of shame or something.
fucking full.
But it's this huge tree, and there's just parts hanging off it for people that have just gone off the side.
Yeah.
Not just off. It's
nuts.
What a beautiful part of the country, though.
Yeah, I love the Blue Ridge part.
Oh my God. Dude.
And the backside of the tail is actually even sicker. Because it's a more elongated.
Yeah.
It's not all hairpinny, but it's like, it's a little more, you can kind of
towards,
tear it up.
Like towards town a little bit. Not, because there's the one that ends at the Harley.
Not that one.
You know, that end of the dragon, the other end.
Yeah.
That's the better end, for sure. Yeah. Because you go down it and it goes to like, it's technically a Harley dealer, but it's like a t-shirt store.
I don't think
at
I've
the
been
bottom.
there.
It's on the bottom, there's a lake, and then it's on the right. But the other way is better. And we did a trip out there. We went to like Gatlinburg and...
Oh, Gatlinburg's got great moonshine.
Do they?
Yeah, Gatlinburg for sure.
Actually makes sense. I don't think we weren't drinking a ton because we were just on. We did this trip. I've told it a couple times. One of my buddies was getting out of the Navy.
Yeah.
He was like, bro, I just want to like, take a week and just wherever we end up. All right. We ended up doing the whole Blue Ridge Parkway. And we took a couple days doing it because it's like a 35-mile-an-hour road. We didn't rip it up.
Yeah.
And we would like ride, go to a bar. We went to the Sierra Nevada. There's a Sierra Nevada brewery out there.
There is, yeah.
We went there and like it would start to get dark and we would literally like flip a coin. And if it was heads, we would keep going. If it was tails, we go find a bar.
Oh, no shit.
It was Did
you go down the slide? It's the Sierra Nevada?
No. Was it like the
giant slide?
No.
Or is it New Belgium? One of them has like a giant slide that comes from the top.
I saw a slide. This was like 2018 maybe.
Yeah.
But dude, it was sick. We ended up at the Cherokee Reservation out there.
Oh, no shit.
Dude, my buddy never been to a casino. I'm not a casino guy. I don't really care for them. I'll go every once in a while.
Do you not like them?
I have an addictive personality. And I know that if I like get into gambling, then I'm going to get into it. And I don't want to.
Yeah.
But so we like played the slots and he's got the worst luck of any grown man I've ever seen in my entire existence.
Yeah.
And he put like $20 into the slot, hit the button, and it starts jing, like going bonkers. And he doubled his money. Or no, he put like $20 in, got like $120.
Sure.
And he was like, what do I like? He literally didn't know what to do. And I was like, that little cash out button, like
you
hit that. Yeah, and then he was like, he pulls it out and he's like, now what? I was like, now we go to the bar.
We drink for free.
Dinner and beers are paid for. And that was
exactly.
It was sick, dude.
Yeah.
But that was a super fun trip. There's some cool stuff on the East Coast.
Yeah.
Like it's not out here, obviously, there's just something, pick a direction and we can go have fun on motorcycles. The East Coast 100%. Is a little bit more restricted.
More spotty.
But there's some really cool stuff. The Outer Banks out there.
Yeah.
In Yorktown, there's a parkway, like in the Norfolk area.
I don't think I've been to that.
Yorktown's cool. There's a lot of history out there, and I'm kind of like a history buff, so it's like where Cornwallis surrendered.
East Coast, the whole East Coast is full of. If you want to know about when we all killed each other, there's all this stuff over there. Yeah, and
there's
it's
still
wild.
like the cave that Cornwallis surrendered in the Revolutionary War. Like you can go there.
Yeah.
Down the parkway. Yeah. It's a cool area, but it's just a different. It's different.
Yeah, it's a lot different. Yeah.
We're here. It's like, hey, we're gonna go to Julian. All right, like.
Yeah.
Where you know what that road
just
looks
happened
like.
yesterday and everything. Yeah. You can stay in houses. Like when I live in Charleston, South Carolina, you can like stay.
Dude, Charleston is old.
Old as shit.
Old.
Yeah. And every house has history. Every single one.
It's a different. Out here, old house is like 100, 150 years old.
Maybe. Back there, like this was built day one.
I went to I was in Boston dude, it was one of the coolest things. We were in Boston for Fleet Week. So we like flew a helicopter onto a boat, then pulled into the Boston Harbor and like
oh no shit.
We gave tours from like
during St. Patrick's Day?
I wish.
That'd be sick.
Dude, we gave tours from like 9 to 3 and then we were just like
hanging out.
Go forth and conquer. And it was so much fun. But one day I got up and I was like, Boston's actually kind of a small city. Like it's a big city, but it's small. Yeah. But I went.
It's got a big personality though as a city.
Yes,
it's fucking got a lot.
They loved us there because I'm a huge New York sports teams fan. Like I'm a huge Mets and Jets fan. I was like, Boston.
Yeah.
I hate the Patriots. I hate, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they were like so appreciative. Like everybody in there, paying for everything. I was like, this is amazing. But we went one day. I was like, I want to go explore. So I like put my running shoes on. I was just like, I'll be back whenever. And I just started running. I found this cemetery that was like in the middle of town. And there's headstones in there from like literally the 1600s.
So crazy.
And it's like some of these, I'm reading like these plaques that are out there and they're talking about how there used to be like a fort or something in this area, like a little community. This is like way back, Plymouth Rock shit.
Yeah.
And they were talking about like the challenges that they were facing. Like literally there was like wolves at the gate.
Yeah.
Like they're like, that's what they were fighting off.
Isn't that so crazy to think about?
Now I'm like looking around. I'm like, there's a city here. Like
I just
walked over here. You know what I mean? Like
easy
it's like,
peasy.
It was like Paul Revere's house and all that was right there. Like the East Coast has cool history
Yeah.
like that. I'm into it. But
We had a fort in my hometown, Fort Steuben, and
Where's
it
your
was
hometown at?
Steubenville, Ohio, is where I like
Okay.
grew up. So it's a suburb of Pittsburgh, but it's on the Ohio River.
Gotcha.
So they built this fort. It's called Fort Steuben, and you literally like every year you'd go and you could do like archaeological digs, but like just the history and the weird shit you'd see there, like stuff that you'd pull out of the ground while you're like, I'm a kid in high school, just like, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, what is this?
Have you been to Gettysburg?
Oh, like it's like 70 times.
Really?
Yeah.
I've
Been stabbed by a saber through my calf, like a civil reenactment sword.
No way.
I still have the scar through my calf.
Were you like got caught up in the mix of the actors or something?
No.
Like, what
Can you
happened?
imagine? So I bought one there when I was like a kid. I don't know. I was probably like 13. So then it snows one winter and I like make a bunch of snowmen in my front yard, right? So then it's my buddy and my brother and I'm like hacking these snowmen, having the time of my life. And then there's this one last snowman. I'm like, oh, fatality. So I turn the saber upside down, and go through my legs like behind me to kill the snowman. Just stuck it right into my calf. You could see the sword sticking out of my skin on the other side. And I just look up in my brother's face. He's like, what the fuck? And I pull it out. It was the coolest thing as a kid, as a boy. Just blood squirting everywhere. I was like, this is amazing. And immediately I was like, oh, I'm so fucked. My parents are gonna fucking
Kill me.
Yeah, just super glue, duct tape. Don't tell anyone about it.
Yeah?
Of course. We did that always
time.
growing up. Yeah, because you can't be like, hey, Dad, remember that BB gun that we had? I'm
Shot my
blind.
eye out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm getting beat up.
Yeah, no, 100% get belted. You're like, I'm already hurt. You're like, yeah, well, now you get belted
Yeah, well,
because
now
you're
I
an
gotta
idiot.
teach you the lesson because you're not hurt enough.
Yeah, exactly. But Gettysburg is sick.
Gettysburg, I accidentally ended up there.
Wait, what?
Dude,
Wait,
I don't. So I used to drive when I first joined the Navy. I lived in Virginia Beach, and I used to drive all back to Michigan all the time, like
Sure.
for Christmas every year, whatever.
Yeah.
And one of those trips, I ended up there. The other place that I drove through completely randomly was Williamsport, where they do the Little League World Series. I
Yeah.
like looked over and was like,
Yeah.
"That's the stadium."
Yeah.
Like what the hell?
Yeah.
But Gettysburg, I like, and dude, it was like a 12 or 14 hour drive or whatever. So
Yeah.
I would leave on Thursday night
Mhm.
at like midnight and just blast straight through
All
of
the
them. I
way?
was 20 years old.
Yeah,
like,
sure,
You can
who
get away.
cares?
I'm not doing that now. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
like, I was just like, cool, Red Bulls and Monsters
Yeah.
and Sour Patch Kids. Like, like here we go.
Sour Patch
Dude, that was how I lived. And I got there and slept for like 8 hours.
Yeah. No
But
shit.
I like pulled over to get gas and it was like, oh, I realized it was at Gettysburg. And I was like, I guess I'll drive around for a little bit. And it's just big open fields.
Yeah.
Like foggy.
Yeah.
Super creepy.
Yeah.
Like,
And it's all, you can still feel the history there. Even if you didn't know what happened there, you'd
you're
be like,
this place is heavy.
there's something here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
heavy.
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly.
dude.
Crazy.
But yeah, that's cool that you've been so many places. Have you ever left the country?
No.
Never.
I get shit. So like the friend group I have right now, I'm the only like American born, and they give me so much shit for it. But then they'll constantly say shit like, "How do you know this about this country?" I'm like, "Dude, you can read shit in books."
Yeah.
But yeah, so my extended family still lives in Lithuania, like my cousins on the Lithuanian side. No, I haven't, and I'm excited to.
Where do you want to go?
I don't like first. I don't know because I wanted to do Hawaii or Alaska before I was done with the U.S. thing.
Have you been to all 48 states?
No.
Okay.
No, but I've lived
I mean,
in
48
enough.
continental. I know.
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
50.
But I want to go do the offshore fucking deep sea fishing shit
Okay.
because that would be dope for like 3 months and maybe dive, maybe not.
Have you ever been in the ocean, like the middle of the ocean?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And you're just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, you look down and you're just like, there's nothing there.
There's nothing. And you look around, you're like, oh, there's nothing anywhere.
You can only just see like as far as the light goes.
Yeah,
and
that's
you're
it.
like, okay.
And how fucking vast it is, knowing that shit's fucking crazy. Ocean's fucking nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But as far as where I want to go, my producer just moved to like Mexico City.
Okay.
So I definitely want to go do that because he's
Mexico
like,
City would be
yeah, he's like, you got to do it. And it's right there. It's like a
Yeah.
2-hour flight and you're done.
Oh, is it that close?
It's super close. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've been to Dubai, Bahrain, Spain.
When Dubai?
France. When?
Yeah.
2013.
So it was like
14.
the islands were built and everything.
Yeah. It was done.
Did you go up and see
I
those?
went like I was like across the street from the Burj Khalifa and all that.
No
I
shit.
went to the Dubai Mall.
Yeah, that's
I went
crazy.
to this. I'm gonna get the numbers wrong, but it was something like Club 52 or Club 54 or 49 or something like that.
Yeah.
And whatever the number was associated, it was on that level of, it was on that floor. So whether it was like 49 or 52 or whatever,
Sure.
that was like the level that the club was on. And it was cool because the floor, it was a 2-story club and the floor was glass.
Yeah.
So we were like, it was across from the Burj Khalifa.
Yeah.
But you would be like looking at the lower floor through the glass, through the window, and like the harbor was all right there, and I was just
wild.
like, and then you leave and there's like Lambos
Yeah.
like in front, and I was just like, I was 20, 21,
No
something like that. I
shit.
was young, so I haven't been back, but like,
There's so much wealth in that part of the world. It's so wild.
insane.
Yeah. Like I ran out of gas to throw the keys away for the Lambo.
Bro,
Is that real? Because I hear the stories and I'm like, are people really just ditching Lambos?
Yeah.
Because they ran out of petrol?
I don't know. I don't know why, but people are 100%. We lived in should I say this? Yeah, it doesn't matter. Everybody else. We lived in when I was in Bahrain. We lived in the Fontana Towers. Is this like hotel out there? There's Fontana Towers. It was the Towers then. Now I think they moved next door to the Gardens, which is like the new one.
Sure.
But you can Google it, and there was like 4 different levels of parking structure, and you parked like according to your like class, kind of.
Oh,
like,
actually?
So we were like P1 or P2 was like our floors, and then like P3 or P4 was like the people that lived in the penthouse.
And then the sheiks fly in from the top and land their helicopter.
But like P4 was like super restricted. Like you couldn't just park up there.
No shit.
But you could go walk around up there, and there was like
Lotus Elices, every supercar ever.
Like there was all that shit. Like there was like you pick a car, you pick one. But like I'll never forget this, like the deepest blue Ferrari, like the deepest blue I've ever seen on a car. And it was there covered in dust on my first deployment. And it was still there covered in dust on my last deployment.
Crazy.
So like that car, it's probably still there.
No shit.
But like, and there was more than just that one.
Yeah,
but I'll never forget, because I don't think I'd ever seen a blue Ferrari.
Sure.
So like,
and
I mean, maybe it was black. It just had that much dirt on it. You know what I mean?
It was like vibrant yellow.
But yeah, I was just like, maybe it wasn't, but it was there for the 3 years of time that I was coming and going from there. It never moved.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So I mean, people have stupid money.
Did you see a Vanta black car by chance when you were in Dubai?
Vanta black? Is that crazy
99.90% like love light? What, like it's illegal to paint cars because your brain can't interpret it.
Really?
Have you seen it in real life?
Seen that, no.
So I bought Vanta black paint. Like this guy made some.
Mm-hmm.
It was like almost like Vanta black. But then my buddy he worked in some, I can't remember how he had access to it, but he's like, you should see this because I love this kind of shit. It's like nerd shit. When he showed it to me, so what did he have? It was like a plate that he had painted, they had with Vanta black.
Yeah.
I literally, in my brain, I felt like I was on acid. I was like, am I looking at the plate? Like, it was so weird because everything in our reality from the time you're born until like present is the
consistency.
Well, like you're regardless of how your neurological state works, you're used to light coming off things.
Right.
So when it's weird.
I haven't seen that.
It'll trip you the fuck
really?
out. Yeah. Even if you've never done drugs, you'll be like, I'm doing drugs now. Yeah.
This feels like drugs.
You want to put your hand like through it. Like it's so weird. Yeah, it's so weird.
There was like weird kind of stuff that would happen out there. Like there'd be you'd be sleeping and dudes would be like drag racing in front of the hotel. There was like this little strip that was just the only thing like at the far end was like this little food area that had like Starbucks and McDonald's or whatever else. And then there was like a half-mile road that there was just nothing kind of right there.
Sure.
And
people would just rip it.
There'd be people racing Lambos and Ferraris out there, and like you'd hear them and look out and be like, "Oh, dude, they're doing $140 in front of the hotel right now." And then they turn around and do it right back the other day. And then they would do it for like an hour. Nobody would show up. Like,
oh, really?
So Bahrain is like this little island off Saudi Arabia, and so the Saudis would come over and just
do whatever they want.
Party, dude.
Oh, no shit. Like, just throw the fuck down.
Yeah, just do whatever they wanted. Like no rules. So there would be like stuff like that happened, and then the I never knew if this was true, but this is what I was always told.
What's that?
So the license plates are all like numbered in chronological order.
Okay.
So like license plate number 1 is like the king, and then like 2 could be the prince, or because Bahrain is a straight up monarchy, not like the United Kingdom where like the king's a figurehead. Like the king runs the show. Like, and it's.
Which is weird because the monarchy, like the English monarchy, they have like 40 rules that are like evergreen that are ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like the queen could be like, hey, also I own all the dolphins in the River Thames. You're like, what?
No way.
But they do.
They
like, they can dissolve the Australian government.
Really?
Like like, so there's all these weird things with the monarchy of Great Britain that like they're there, but like no one really does it, right? But they could. Oh. Like if you're the head monarchy of Great Britain, you don't need a driver's license. Like you get to drive.
I mean,
even if you were blind and had no arms, you're like,
I'm driving. I'm the king. Like
you're also French for some reason. I'm driving.
But Bahrain's like that. Like there's no president, there's no prime minister. It's the king. So like I was always told that the license plates were chronological. Like number 1's the king and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And we were at like the mall one time. and there was like this crazy ass Range Rover and like all the security around it. And the license plate was like number 4 or whatever. And I remember being like,
"You take that license plate, bro."
No.
Yeah, you do.
No, you get they cut your hands off for stealing.
Yeah, they do.
Like,
yeah,
we need
to bring that shit back. Yeah, come on, we need to bring that back.
They did just bring back that like stealing's a crime in California again. Have you seen this?
Stealing's a crime?
Because forever it was like $900 or less.
Disclaimer: stealing hasn't been a crime in California. Like what?
But people are gonna know what I'm talking about. But like, it was a misdemeanor no matter how much. If you stole up to like $1,500 or something.
No, I thought it was more. I thought it was like 60 grand.
I don't know how. Then whatever the number was,
it's
gone. Like now,
so
like,
what?
If you steal like $100 worth of shit, you're going to jail. It's not just like here's a ticket. Like because people. I mean, we even saw it at I was at Hobby Lobby not that long ago.
Yeah.
And like walking in, the lady's walking out with the cart, and like the security, whoever the hell it is like, hey, and then she walks out of the store and they can't do anything.
Yeah.
Like that was a few months back. Like that's gone. You can't do that anymore. You go to jail.
I was trying to figure this out because like for a while when I was in California, me and my partner at the time, Lucy, we were like not doing great. Like we were just trying to figure stuff out. So like I'd go to Sprouts and like self-checkout. I would check out like one thing, maybe. And I'd be like, I would just walk and be like, this has got to be illegal. Like, I know it's wrong, but I could be like, oh, like, I didn't know. Or just be like, just non-culpability ignorance. But the reality is, like, I knew better.
Yeah.
But I was just like, I'm in a tight place. Like, fuck Sprouts. They're like, they're not family owned. Like, whatever, right? But at the end of the day, I was like, is there an amount? Like, do they know? And it's just like tallying. And eventually it's like federal prison.
That's happened to people where like people have gone in and left the dog food bag under the crate or under the cart for so long, and they've like tallied it up, and hey, like over this year you've stolen.
You walk
like,
in, they just clink.
Yeah,
you're like,
dude,
no!
like that stuff happens. Like theft prevention, whatever. Like Target is no joke. Like,
really? I've never been in a Target.
I mean, I'm basing all this off of like TikTok and shit.
Okay.
But like,
cool.
those dudes are in there like watching you on cameras. Do you know how to TikTok?
Well, no, I do. You have an addictive personality. I do too.
Yeah.
If I get on TikTok, you won't see me at work for 4 days. I don't know what I'll find, but and nowadays I don't even know what to believe, because you know what I mean. It's just like then I have to research what I found. Like, oh, this is crazy.
Yeah.
But
have
if
you
just
seen his TikTok?
No, should I?
It's interesting.
I'm definitely down.
He's a carnivore diet guy.
He's a what?
He's a carnivore diet.
Yeah, that's a good shit. You eat liver, raw liver.
I mean, once in a while I eat it, but
Yeah. You don't eat bull testicles or.
He lives on a ranch, so he'll like go off to this like cliffside with his like super legit cutting board that looks super fancy with a huge steak, and like there's birds in the
Is this like
background.
Men with a Pot?
Bro,
or
it looks like
Two Men with a Pot? Have you know what I'm talking about?
cook it out there.
Oh, I see.
Dude, it looks like he's standing on Pride Rock, like from a Lion King. And he's just like out there cutting. He's like, so the carnivore diet. There's like birds and like a gazelle
This is
jumping
sick.
in the background.
A gazelle?
And it's just him talking.
A non-endemic species?
Chopping up his steak. Yeah. It's
There's a
sick,
zebra?
dude. Yeah, a zebra. Not a zebra, a zebra.
No, it's a zebra just walks by.
That's Dweezy. Check out Dweezy Film
Yo,
on
I'm
TikTok.
definitely down. That's super sick.
Shameless plug right there, dude.
Yeah, it was.
I got you, bro.
TikTok's almost done.
Is that actually going to go away?
Yeah, that's supposedly.
On like the 20th, right?
Yeah. I mean, if you think about it, this is where a conspiracy, right? Where it's
There's
like,
so many
as far
jokes
as
about things that
the
can go
psyop
away.
part of it, like if you do look at it, like it's not really great.
No, it's
Like
terrible.
which like the Eastern world was like, hey, we can use this thing to propagate like knowledge and education and actually like use it as a tool. Americans were like, do you dance? And it's gotten like, it's putrid. It doesn't really help anybody. And there is good content. There are people that make it, but there's not enough. No. And most people, the algorithms are all made to just keep sheep.
Have you ever seen The Fat Electrician?
No.
He's like this. He's just from what I understand, do you know who I'm talking about, The Fat Electrician? Yeah. He's like just a personality that does a podcast and he has people on, but he tells stories about like Marines in World War II.
Sure.
And then he'll go off on this other tangent. He's all on TikTok, but I'll go down his rabbit hole and I'm like, this is like a history lesson.
Sure.
Like straight up, I'm learning things right now, but
Which
most
like,
of it's not that.
Yeah. It's a fraction of TikTok, at least in our side.
100%.
Yeah.
But that guy, check that dude out too. He's actually super interesting.
For the next couple days before they get rid of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Maybe, I mean, hopefully he can bounce to Instagram or something because
yeah.
I think he's interesting.
Yeah.
I've never watched his podcast or anything, but
no.
I'll watch his minute and 30-second history lessons. And I'm like, I'm so smart.
Dude, I know all this stuff. Forget it the next day.
I'll go down there and tell somebody, I'm like, you didn't know that?
You're an idiot.
Idiot. Like,
I do that same shit all the time.
yeah. Oh, fuck. Well, we got to get back to work. That was an hour, bro.
So. All right. Nice.
All right. Thanks for coming, bro.
Yeah. Always a pleasure.